Sean Diddy Combs is pushing for a 14-month prison sentence, saying the government just wants to lock him up and throw away the key. In a new court filing, his attorneys argue Combs must be sentenced for what the jury convicted him of, transportation for the purposes of prosecution, and that the court should not consider the more serious sex trafficking and racketeering charges he was acquitted of. Prosecutors have not completed the sentencing memorandum, but the defense suggests they're seeking about 5 years, which it describes as draconian. 14 months would be time served. The sentencing hearing is set for October 3rd. And ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer is here with more on that. So, Brian, what do you make of this sentencing request by the defense? Should Sean Combs get to go home on that day?
So let me answer the first part of that. From a defense standpoint, I think this is one of the strongest and most reasonable arguments you can make that, in essence, will get your client out. And when we say time served, we're basically saying that from the time that Sean Combs has been incarcerated on this case, September 16th of last year, so exactly 1 year and 1 week to date, that would have been the time he's serving. Because in a 14-month sentence with the federal system, you only do 85% of that, which is just shy of 12 months. He can, in essence, walk out. Do I think he's ultimately going to get it? Not necessarily. And the reason why I say that is, as a defense attorney, you ask for the lowest reasonable request and sometimes unreasonable requests you can make. The government, on the other hand, is asking for anywhere from 51 to 63 months, that at least they cited in other papers. I think more likely than not, the judge is going to make everyone a little miserable and find something in the middle, something that keeps Sean Combs incarcerated for about maybe 2 years or so.
Brian Buckmeyer, thank you.
What is up, y'all? It's Coffee on the Vid. Tapping back in, and y'all hear what it is. Y'all know what it is. Y'all see what it is. Coming up on pretty much 1 year to the day of Diddy being locked up, and that old fateful sentencing day is right around the corner on October 3rd, man. And Diddy's team, his legal team, is trying to get everything in order for this big sentencing date. And you see what they're saying. Listen, make sure he's being sentenced on what he was convicted of, right? Because he was charged with the axe trafficking RICO, you know what I mean? They were like, he's something out of a movie, a bad guy, axe trafficker, forcing D-rugs down individuals' throats and all that. And they're like, that's not how it went. He beat those charges. He was convicted of paying to play, traveling around the country, paying for prostitution, the oldest job there is, that's been going on since biblical times, right? I mean, I'm not trying to be blasphemous for anything like that. I'm just trying to put things in context and, break it down. Make sure, as always, guys, to break it down, your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe and all that, as always. But family members have written letters. Everyone's getting everything in order, and that's what they're saying. Like, yo, he wasn't convicted of the wild-ish. He was convicted of paying to play, and this case has legal precedence. Diddy, and it's, he didn't want this out there, but it's out there now. The Punisher talking with Killer Cam about how Diddy was coming out with the veil over his face or whatever, or a Yankee fitted on, watching his chick get bust down by a male talent. Pause. You know what I'm saying? He's on some old freaky-ish, having multiple girlfriends running around, partying it up, doing trayways and all kinds of ish. And they're saying that's a swinger lifestyle. The law needs to be up to date. That's what they're saying. You let me know what you're saying. Don't necessarily, take all this as my take per se. But this all has legal precedence. It should go down in the books. And, like they're asking for a 14-month sentence. They're also pointing out that he has, really bad substance abuse problems that he's trying to get in order, according to him and the defense. And they're saying sentence him on that. We're asking for 14 months. Prosecutors are talking, what did they say, like 10 years or 5 years or something? They're saying it's going to be somewhere in the middle, between 3 to 5 years. Let me know what you think it's going to be. It's really crazy with the Fed cases. They got the guidelines, and it's supposed to be a simple thing, but this case, nothing's been simple about it. And, my prediction was that because he beat certain charges at trial, he can appeal the sentencing, I believe. I mean, and if there is a way, if that's how it's going to go, he's got a top-tier legal team that's paid handsomely, pause, and they're going to fight and everything. And I wonder if they'll go along with him and give him the time served, basically 14-month sentence, and then have him serve a lot of the time on the back end on paper, like we saw with Young Thug, although his wasn't a federal case. I don't know. There's just been so much that's happened to get us to where we're at, and we're here now. And Diddy's just basically like, man, you guys tried to make me out to be this guy. The internet ran crazy with it. The world is running with all these narratives, but basically I was just traveling around paying for action, paying for ass. Pause. Even because he technically was paying for males too, even though he wasn't getting active with them per se, or was he? I don't know. He was watching them. That's what I'm saying. This is crazy, and that's what he's saying. I'm a swinger. I'm some old freak motherfucker, man. Recognize that in the law books. I'm not this bad guy you guys try to make me out to be. And also the Mann Act, the white slavery law that's been around forever and pretty much was nothing more than a racist law made back in the day to try to keep black men from being able to be in relationships with white women. And, you know, that law was a part of this too, and that's another thing that sets legal precedents that they're saying we got to get that right, man. So comment, let me know what you think about it all. Let me know if you think that, you know, Diddy is a foul individual, or you don't agree with him morally per se, but he's not, to you, he's not who they try to make him out to be. Or what do you think about the whole ex workers and all that? You know, do you think there's more to that by someone participating in it? They keep a vicious cycle going around. I don't know. You know, there's just so many ways to look at this, and we're going to find out what happens on October 3rd. And then, man, this ish all started with Dame Dash teeth falling out. And last year when he was kicking off this new platform that he's got, 50 Cent roasted him. You know, it's turned into this thing where Dame's on line going back and forth with everyone. Camron, Dame, or I'm sorry, 50 Cent's a part of it because Cam and Fifth linked up for this Paid in Full series. And, you know, Dame came out, he filed a lawsuit against Killer Cam, and he's like, listen, let's come together. Cam, me and you, we go way back. Fifth, be a part of it. I don't want no part of the Paid in Full series, which I'm looking forward to. You know what I mean? But he's like, we can work on something else together. Revolt, how about we squash the beef, have a sit down? And Breakfast Club too, except for Charlemagne, you know, mustache, rainbowed out individual, you know what I mean? And Dame was like, we do it like that, or I just keep filing lawsuits on you motherfuckers, man. And you see 50 Cent doing what he does with the comedy, with the bombity. He was like, yeah, I think Dame's right. Like, we should all come together, man, 100% and grow as men. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm paraphrasing. You see exactly what he said. But he said, oh, wait, Cam said, fuck this Chat GPT lawsuit. So I'm with him. It's fuck you, Dame. 50 Cent. Never, you know, a dull moment. Never missing out on some comedy. I thought maybe it was going to work because we seen Cam and May squash the issue. May said Cam piped his own sister. You know what I'm saying? But apparently it ain't going that way. Cam maybe isn't ready quite just yet. But Fifth just out here got his jokes. Because, again, he's the one that started it all with the clowning Dame for his teeth falling out. And Dame was launching this America New Network or whatever it was. And he's like, yo, you help me. Because all publicity is good publicity. You know what I mean? Like, what's really good is getting more eyes on me in the algorithm. But he's about sick of it all, going at it with everyone and everything going on. And we almost had this moment where they all come together, but I guess almost doesn't count, only in horseshoes and hand grenades, and that's just how it is at this current juncture. So jump in the comments, share your thoughts on it all. Diddy, Mace Cam, or I'm sorry, Dame Cam Fifth. Subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for the updates. It's Coffee talking everything under the sun. Subscribe. Let's talk. Peace.